So that's pretty cool. All right, let's move on now to the next email. And the next email today comes to us from Nicholas DeWitt. And Nicholas DeWitt writes, "Hey, John, love the show. I was reading tonight that Warner Brothers is already planning on doing a sequel to Aquaman. While I like the positive attitude, didn't they learn anything from the disaster Universal had with its failed Monsterverse and getting ahead of themselves? I'm looking forward to Aquaman, but this just sort of screams that Warner Brothers just hasn't learned anything. What say you?" All right, thanks a lot for the email, Nicholas. And what Nicholas is talking about and is referring to, there was a piece in the Hollywood Reporter talking to Amber Heard. Now, in that piece that was focusing on Amber Heard, the Hollywood Reporter wrote the following. They wrote this: "According to strong early tracking, the film is expected," talking about Aquaman, "the film is expected to earn an impressive $65 million in its domestic debut and top Mary Poppins and Transformers spin-off Bumblebee, at least in its opening weekends. That number gave Warner Brothers Picture Group chairman Toby Emmerich enough confidence to begin talks on a sequel, though no writer has been commissioned yet. Heard, who sources say earned a low seven-figure salary — man, I would love to earn a low seven-figure salary — would see that payday balloon," which is for obvious things. So, Robert, you haven't seen Aquaman yet. No. I haven't seen Aquaman yet, although we are both going to go see Aquaman like in the next 48 hours or so, I think. No, like early next week. We're going to go see Aquaman early next week. What do you think about them talking right now about an Aquaman sequel? Is it getting ahead of themselves? Is this another Universal Monsters thing? Or is there more intelligence behind this? How do you see it?
Well, I think, remember, the studios are way ahead of everybody as far as they know. Aquaman, first of all, had its London premiere. We saw James Wan traveling around the world, going to Asia, going to London, showing this film. And they've already got the feedback. They already know that they've got a hit on their hands. They already know that everybody loves this movie. So it's not unusual for them to move forward with a film. Look, they're moving forward with films all the time. We just don't hear about it until they're a lot further down the road because it's all internal. So Warner Brothers knows they've got a hit with Aquaman. How big of a hit remains to be seen. But when studios don't have so much of a hit, they still try and build up the hype. They still try and they keep putting on a brave game face until it becomes readily apparent a film underperforms. We heard those stories about the executives who stood up and cheered after seeing Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice for the first time.
Which were BS.
And indeed, they probably did. BS. They probably watched a 3-hour cut, and then the marketing department...
You think the marketing department
weighs in and says, "Guys, we can't release a 3-hour movie." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, we have to cut it down."
Well, I mean, look, I
don't think that. Look, they know. I look at the Aquaman trailer and I'm like,
I don't know. I don't think there was ever a standing ovation for that movie. I think that maybe somebody leaked that there was a standing ovation. I thought Batman versus Superman and Justice League. I thought Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice was the extended cut, or whatever it's called, the ultimate cut or something like that. Anyway, I thought that cut was
the ultimate cut.
The ultimate cut, that's it. I thought that was marginally better than the theatrical cut. But I don't believe for a second that Justice League ever got a standing ovation. I think that was all BS. But I'll tell you what, though. I totally see where our viewer is coming from, saying this kind of smells like the Universal situation. Yeah, I get that. I know that. But there is a big difference between that Universal Monsters scenario and this scenario. And the big difference is this. That Monsters universe scenario that Universal was trying to kick off with Tom Cruise's The Mummy, it didn't have any movies out yet. It was a franchise that didn't even exist yet, right? And then they were planning and marketing and advertising and putting out photo spreads of these next 4 movies we're doing when they hadn't had a single one-hit theater yet. The DC universe is a little bit different. The DC universe is in a situation where they've had many movies out and they've already got, not only do they have more movies coming, but they've got a movie like Shazam that's already pretty much almost in the can and done shooting, and that's just in post-production. We got Wonder Woman 84 that's coming down the road. So these things are already happening. I'm going to say this. I like the new attitude at Warner Brothers. I like that this studio, which has traditionally absolutely refused to show any confidence in their property and in their franchise, I like the fact that under Walter Hamada, they have totally changed their tune. They aren't just putting out stuff for PR's sake. They're not just doing a lot of grandstanding or chefs puffing out. They are actually doing concrete things that says, we believe in our franchise. Whether it's lifting the review embargo for Aquaman super early, whether it's letting the public see Aquaman a full week before its release date to let word of mouth get out there. And now even talking about, look, we know we've got a winner in Aquaman, so it's time for us to start talking about Aquaman 2. I totally see where it could be looked at as maybe them getting ahead of themselves. I understand that. But under Walter Hamada and the way they've been conducting themselves lately, I just see it as them showing great confidence. What do you think about that? I think we got some delay now.
Well, yeah. Well, yes, I was like, I was missing you. Well, I agree with you entirely. I mean, Walter Hamada was brought in to sort of change directions, and they have done that. And I think it's really important that, look, these studios are betting hundreds of millions of dollars in both the budget and the marketing of these movies. These are not movies that are just haphazardly thrown around. They are hoping that each and every film they make is a hit. No one is trying to make a movie anything less than the best movie you've ever seen. Everybody is always trying to make the best movie you've ever seen. But unfortunately, there's pressure from marketing, there's pressure from corporate shareholders, there's pressure from the filmmakers themselves, there's pressure from the executives. Everyone is trying to make the best movie they can. And that's what people need to understand. When they hired a visionary filmmaker like James Wan, who has incredible, the Saw franchise, the Conjuring franchise. He's working the Fast and the Furious franchise. This was a hire that was really well considered, and apparently it paid off. So they're working very hard to make us the best entertainment possible. And I think what's going on with the new direction at Warner Brothers and not trying to make a universe, but try and make a film by film success, that's the way to go. And that results in getting a Joker movie, and getting a Shazam movie, and getting the Harley Quinn movie. I think we're going to be getting some great films. And in the end, that's all that really matters.
All right.